The fake slide in college football has now been banned. That was quick and it was the right thing to do. Um, LaVar Ball, he is back relevant and he could not be any more happy. And he's already up to his old ways. He said his son, who plays for the Charlotte Hornets, owned by Michael Jordan, doesn't need any advice from Michael Jordan. He hasn't won championships anytime recently anyway. And I'm like, that's pretty LaVar Ball like. Kanye and Drake put on a concert last night. My kids were at it while I was working paying for it. Nick Saban gets a brand new Fat Daddy contract. Why did he need a new contract? Juicy Smollet gets found guilty on 5 counts. Is he being canceled or is he receiving consequences? Demaryius Thomas passes away. And what are the fake conspiracy theories or the conspiracy theories in general that you actually believe are true? I'm George Reister. He's Ralph Amsden. And this is Reister or Wrong, the intersection where sports, business, society, and pop culture meet the truth. Absolute fire on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, facts only. Make sure you check your feelings at the door because no BS is allowed. We keep it 100. All right, Ralph, we will start at the beginning because
Okay.
they did a good thing today in college football. And it's funny because the NCAA is usually extremely slow to react to things. But today they got it right. The fake slide that Kenny Pickett did that was celebrated by some people, I was like, immediately, I was like, this is trash. I couldn't hate it anymore. And now they have outlawed it and banned it, Ralph. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. That was there was some quickness on that one, and I think the only time you really see anybody move that quick is to protect quarterbacks. And I think that there was a lot of whining on the defensive side of of like, hey, you're going to penalize us for this, but they did not do it for fairness to the defense because we people have been complaining about targeting forever. People have been complaining about pass interference being too sensitive to the offensive side of the ball forever. It was the idea that Kenny Pickett could get the next mobile quarterback put in traction
Yes.
that got this. That got this.
And he would
But I will
deserve it.
tell you, yeah, yes, I still thought it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
What? Hold on. I'll
It
play it
was
for you
cool.
guys. Here was.
You'd love to see that from the quarterback. That was Mark Whipple on the sidelines, the offensive coordinator for the Panthers. Pickett, a very good runner. Don't sleep on those legs. Oh, he faked the slide. Sauce time. Pickett. Did that work? Touchdown, Pitt.
Yawn. Dude,
Yawn.
that wasn't dope. That
Why
should
not?
be that should have been a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty where he did it. That's dude. Oh, you're gonna fake a slide, dude. Your quarterback complexion is your protection there, dude. You knew that the people were not going to hit you because you went to go slide. It was a big game. They were playing against Wake Forest in the ACC championship. The players were just trying to be smart, and he just circumvented the spirit of the rules to protect him. Be like, ha ha, dude, it's so whack. It's Patrick Mahomes. He did that a couple, like 2 years ago in the playoffs, where he faked like he was going out of bounds like a quarterback, and then was like, but at least it wasn't a slide. He faked like he was going out of bounds, which any player could do, and then he kept on running. I didn't mind that one as much, but this felt gross from the beginning.
Okay, so Pac-12 championship first drive. Anthony Brown does it. Are you mad?
Yes, yes.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
You don't believe me? Are you kidding me? So
No,
why I
no.
have no stake in this game. I have no stake in um
Do you respect the athleticism that it takes to be full speed running and go into a slide and pull out of it, because the front view of it really made it look like, I mean, he sold it. He did. You got to give him credit for actually kind of going into it. And then if you really
Okay,
hate this
I will
that
give
much,
him high marks for execution, but it was lame.
okay, but if you really hate it that much, are you at least grateful that the loophole gets closed because he pulled it off?
Yes, yes. Because imagine if that were the play to win the national championship. Do you know how gross that would be?
I would
Like,
really.
imagine if the national championship or the Super Bowl, even the Super Bowl, were decided on that play.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it. Sure, I guess it happened to Wake Forest, so you're not, the complaining's not going to be that loud. That's a pretty small school, but like, and if that happened to Miami or that happened to like Oklahoma, it would be a lot. It would be the fallout would be pretty huge. Um, it's just funny to me. It just clicked in my head that you're giving Kenny Pickett the James Harden treatment. You want football to be played a specific way. You don't want anybody to be able to exploit certain rules to be able to
So am I
exceed what they
consistent
should.
now? So am I consistent? Because how do I feel about James Harden's rule bending of the rules versus the way the NBA is played now this season?
You hate it. You would rather see James Harden be a 12 point, 16 assist a night guy than a 35 point on 40% shooting, 8 assist guy, which he
I
was
would
pulling
rather
off
see
there for a while.
I would rather see James Harden score 35 points a night, but not 16 of them at the free throw line. Like that's not good NBA basketball. That's not good basketball. I drew a foul. So let's shoot free throws. Bro, nobody wants to see that.
So
It's
can I ask you
lame.
an honest question? Because
Yes.
I saw you having a Twitter conversation, and somebody asked you if you have that same energy about fake spikes, and you said no. So what's the difference for you of somebody pulling off a fake spike versus a fake slide?
There is no actual protection for any player on a spike. Like a spike is like a fake spike is like a boxing match when you come out and you go touch gloves and somebody punches you in the face. You should have been ready. The fight started. But if somebody punched you in the face when you're getting ready to tap gloves, if somebody punched you in the face in the pre-fight, when the referee's giving you the final instructions and he's like touch gloves, but instead of touching gloves, he punched you in the face, that would be wrong. That's a violation of rules because you have protection in that moment. But if they do it when the fight first starts, you should have been ready. That's a fake spike. There's a big difference.
So you're talking about Victor Ortiz and Floyd.
Yep.
One man trying to give a hug while it's live, and the protect yourself at all times. Okay, so what about this? What about this? If the NFL or NCAA came in and said, "Hey, you punters that are trying to sell a contact that doesn't happen. If you go down when you didn't get hit, that's 5 yards on you, tacked onto the end of the reception." Would you be
No,
for
that's
something like that?
no, that's just adding rules just to be adding rules. Like trying to. I mean, that's like somebody falling on. Like I don't mind where people try to draw personal foul penalties where they're like, "Oh, I died. Like you touched me." That doesn't bother me. The embellishment, it doesn't bother me.
Okay, so unless it was working, unless the refs couldn't do their job.
Correct. If it
What is that? So what's the? Is a fake slide? Because I don't expect it to happen anymore. It wasn't like a common thing. What's the penalty? Dead ball?
Yeah,
Dead ball
yes,
at the
yes.
point?
Yep.
But
Dead
they don't,
ball
like,
at the
flag
point.
you or anything, do they?
No, they're not flagging
Okay,
them.
that's good. That's good. Then I don't have because that for a second I was like, oh, they're gonna throw a flag for someone trying to.
No. All they did is say either slide or don't slide. And if you go to fake slide, the play's over.
When I first saw the play, I genuinely thought he changed his mind.
Seriously? No, dude.
I've never seen.
That was premeditated. He's been thinking about that for weeks. He's like, when I get the opportunity, I'm pulling this out.
Well, when I saw the way he reacted to the rule change, I was like, "Oh, you're malicious,"
Yes.
because he was like, "Yo, I changed the game."
See, that's what I'm saying. He did it on purpose. Now, you know who else is doing stuff on purpose? Ralph's boy LaVar Ball. He is back in the news, man. He
Did I
must be
tell
out
you?
there hanging out in Charlotte with LaMelo now because Lonzo won't talk to him. So and now he's got two sons in the NBA. One of them is going to absolutely be an all-star this year. The other one may be an all-star. And Lonzo, he's winning right now. He was right. And now and people did not want to hear from this dude after Lonzo got traded to Siberia and then kind of cut him off too on some level. Like in terms of him being publicly visible. He was like, "No, Dad, you gotta chill out." And now he's back to spiking the football. This dude had the audacity, the nerve, the unmitigated gall to sit up and say, "Listen, we don't need any advice from Michael Jordan." When was the last time he won a championship? The last time he played, the last time he played for the Bulls, fool. Like the idea. See, I think that this is asinine. And LeVar Ball is just so happy that people are listening to what he has to say that he's just gonna say anything again.
Okay, all right. So I didn't know. I thought you've been Team Levar this whole time. 'Cause you kind of bristle at the people who are like aggressively anti Levar Ball.
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because they act like this dude's a nuisance father, like that he is some kind of way doing wrong by his children. I believe that his intentions have been good the entire time. I don't think that he's perfect. I don't think that Richard Williams was perfect, but neither are they Joe Jackson. Like they're not Joe Jackson. Like, are they probably, was he probably too far involved? Yes, but he wasn't wrong. I mean, look at the whole personal brand, big baller brand, all of that. That's NIL. He was just the first to do it. And pretty much the first people who do it don't cash in on it. It's the second, third, fourth, fifth that really gets a chance to fine tune it and get it right. He was an early adopter and a disruptor, and he was right. But at the same time, I can still say, like, bro, you talking about your son don't need no advice from Michael Jordan, one of the greatest winners of all time, learning how to take care of your body, how to manage an NBA season, all of this stuff, that's idiocy. Like the Bible everywhere talks about having mentors. People who are successful in business and every industry talk about the mentors that they've had. And those things are important. And to say that your son don't need no mentors, all right, man. Tell me, make it make sense, LaVar.
I think at this point I feel like you're creating drama for your kids that they didn't ask you to create. Um, I feel like we're reaching the point of him kind of getting in the way, because you got him to the party. You don't need to walk in the party with them, introduce them to the girl, make sure they get the best drink. You don't need you did your job. You did your job, right?
Yep.
And I don't know. Some people's opinions about LeVar Ball make me uncomfortable because I think LeVar Ball has as much right to a bad opinion as anybody.
Yes.
That's important to me. That I think, and I also think that like taking LeVar Ball with a grain of salt is very important because it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. Like here, I got this in my pocket right now. You see this? You recognize that?
Looks like Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah. So when I was 10 years old, my uncle, who I'm down in Arizona right now to visit, took me to a Harlem Globetrotters game. And I'd never seen anything like it. It was just, you know, it was anything you could ever hope for. It's
Yeah.
pure entertainment.
It was amazing.
They were there. Yeah, they're there for you. Have you ever seen them? Like
Yeah,
live?
yeah. Yes. I remember I would go see them whenever they came to Memphis.
I remember going to NBA games as a kid. I'd be like, man, I hope this is good. I hope it works out in my favor. The Harlem Globetrotters, like the outcome's decided. It's more like WWE, right? But like the whole purpose, their entire purpose, their entire focus is making sure that you have a good time. And I always really like look back on that as a really cherished memory. And then I remembered when I started covering sports um, professionally back in 2012. I found this patch and I taped it to my computer. There's two things taped to my computer. There's a little post-it that says "Tell the truth" or someone will tell it for you, and this patch, this Harlem Globetrotters patch. Just as a reminder, the whole point of this is to entertain. The whole point, right? And so, understanding that, I try not to get too worked up. And LaVar Ball sometimes presses my buttons because I do a lot in high school sports. It means I deal with a lot of dads, and you're in that place right now. You're a high school football dad. There's people talking about your kid. You have to protect your kid from certain things. You have to introduce them to certain things. You have to push them. You have to hold them back. You have to make sure they're surrounded by people who have their best interests in mind. And then you also have to make sure that they have the ability to take on adversity themselves. You have to make sure that they measure up to because if they're really good, it's going to open up them to an entire world of LaVar Balls, an entire world of them. Of people, not just people in barbershops now. The highest paid people in sports media are LaVar Balls, right? Like that's what they are. And so, um, I do also bristle at some of the criticism of LaVar. Some of it feels, maybe I'm wrong on this. Some of it feels race based.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people. I just don't. I think sometimes you live in a community where you don't know a LaVar Ball.
Yeah, and people don't, and there's a certain faction of people who is I'm not going to say they're racist because I don't think they necessarily are. I think that they just haven't been exposed to or feel uncomfortable around a kind of boisterous, loud black man like LaVar. It's intimidating to him, or it's like whoa. It's like a culture shock. It's almost like if you would normally go to there's difference between like different types of churches. If you went to a Catholic church in Iowa, and then you went to a Baptist church in Mississippi, you're in for two totally different God experiences. People would
absolutely.
I mean, and if you took a black person and took them up there, it'd be like, what is going on in here? I don't understand. I feel uncomfortable because it's too quiet. It's not as like there's not as much goings on. Like what the hell is going on here? And then vice versa. They're like, whoa, this is a lot. This is a lot.
If you've never, it's weird because there's some people who've never seen anything like LaVar Ball. And there's there's genuinely some people, and sometimes I feel like I'm one of them. I'd be like, well, LaVar is like, I've been in places where there's 10 LaVar Balls, and they're all shouting over each other. I had people over when I was 19 years old to my condo to watch Mike Tyson fight Lennox Lewis, and I was the only non-LaVar Ball there. Like, if I wanted,
and you know what is funny? There are white LaVar Balls too. Like it is not just a.
God. Oh my God! No, there are so many. In covering high school football, dude. It's not always like the quarterback's dad. Like sometimes it's the left tackle's dad who
the cornerback's dad, the cornerback, running back.
Oh my God!
Wide receivers.
God, and it's just like so. It's just. You can tell people who are kind of bristle at LaVar that they've never been around it in the club basketball scene. Like LaVar Ball is oftentimes a woman.
Yes. Oh my God, bro. That is the most underrated thing that you've said. LaVar Ball is sometimes a woman. That sometimes it's the moms that be acting up worse than the dads.
And sometimes and there is no Ball brothers. It's a woman who has one son.
Yep. No, bro, you have never lied. All right. Speaking of somebody else who's boisterous and outspoken, Kanye West. Kanye and Drake had a concert last night at the Coliseum. It was streamed on Amazon Prime. Did you tune in, Ralph?
I peripherally tuned in, so I was following you and several other people's comments about it and clicking on the clips that people were pulling. I didn't watch it on Amazon. I'm staying at my parents' house, and I think that they probably think it's weird if I took up the big screen to watch hip hop.
Hey, so this was essentially a virtual concert for aside from the 50, 60,000 people that were actually at the Coliseum. And this brought up the idea of like concerts in the metaverse because and people are like, wait, what metaverse concert? Like, why am I going to go to the concert in the metaverse? Well, they're actually going on already. There have been multiple artists, including Paris Hilton, like Ariana Grande, all these people. So you go in the metaverse and then you go watch a concert and participate in it while you're in the comfort of your own home. Like, and so,
Yeah,
and because you're there, it's an immersive experience. So I get it's the same thing. If your body thinks you're there, then you're there.
pretty much. And but you also, when you're at a live show, you don't have the you're not always there with all your friends. Have you ever tried to get like a big group of people to all go to the same show?
It never works.
It never works. And then even if you are there, you're all seated next to each other. So like if you want to talk to somebody 3 seats down, you're having to shout over people. The music's usually super loud. So like experiencing something with your oh my god, I'm about to say some nonsense. Please have grace for me. Okay?
Nope. But go on.
Okay. There is a stereotype about movie theaters. I'm just gonna stop right there, and then I'm
Oh,
gonna skip
oh,
right
you're
to my
talking about
point.
that black people talk in movies? Yes, yes, Ralph. They yell at the screen at movies sometimes.
All right, now let me skip to my point. That's not the wrong way to watch a movie. It's not. It's a different way. I think there's more than one way. I think the community aspect of like being there with a bunch of your friends, shouting out, laughing, and stuff like that. I think that is a perfectly acceptable and it has its own reward. I think it's good, right?
Okay.
I think that you can't mix those two crowds though, because that's a bad experience for everybody, right?
Yes. Shh.
Um,
Shh.
yeah, yes, yes. All right. So are we still good? I
Yeah.
haven't stepped on any landmines yet. Okay,
No.
okay. I think experiencing a concert like that is also really cool because that's the way that you and I consume sports. You and I get on the phone with each other. We're on Twitter. We're retweeting funny things. We're trying to put funny things out there. It's a
Oh, so
community
you're
event.
saying
I
so
don't
it
think
might
that
actually be a better experience.
maybe not for everybody, but for people who have gotten used to like being on Twitter while watching games, um, yeah, why not? Why not have like so I haven't jumped full like into the verses thing like there's because I'm not like they've gone kind of deep into the culture and then this is versus is for black people, it's by black people for black people, and I'm not going to go out there like I was in junior high wearing my FUBU jacket, right? I'm not going to co-opt it just
Why
yet,
why
but I
not?
do watch.
Why not?
I do watch, and I do. I'm not going to make it about me. I think there's enough people out there making it about themselves. But so there's a few that I've watched, and I really love watching what people have to say, and and the commentary that comes along with it. I love that. And then last night you have this concert of two icons. Everybody's talking about it at the exact same time, and it's like shit, man. Like movie, like we do this with sports, we could do this with movies. This whole like metaverse experiencing it together thing, I feel like is the future. I really do. I think, and I think that you have Oculus technology. If you could feel like you're actually there, and you could see people's comments popping up, and you could talk to somebody without disturbing anybody else's experience, right? So like you could
Yeah.
be in the front row at the movie theater throwing popcorn at the screen laughing in the horror film when somebody runs upstairs and not ruin somebody else who paid their ticket, who just wants the immersive experience and the quiet and to be away from their family and the noise and everything like that. You can actually isolate your experience within the metaverse to have a really good time. I think it's awesome. I really do. I feel like I danced too close to some lines on this though. I'm still talking, and I want you to talk instead of me.
No, man. So I'm in on these concerts now. Like I'm in
Cool.
on it, and the immersive experience of being able to tweet and like be there at the same time, especially if you can actually be there, be there. So I will be attending metaverse concerts with the whole goggles, everything on, because if you feel like you're actually there. And then I can pop out and be like, sending tweets, or maybe I can send my tweets in the metaverse while I'm there.
That's what I'm saying. Have them pop up like in the periphery on
Yes.
the goggles and everything like that, like the trending ones, and see your own and see your friends. Like if you have a list of people who you want to hear from during it,
Yep.
so you could be distant and together at the same time. What is your dream concert? If you so now that this is a possibility, what would your dream concert be?
Jay Z for sure. Jay Z, Eminem, Beyonce, or is that too many headliners at once? And like, um, and who just came out with a new and Adele. I don't know how you mix all of them, but give it to me.
Okay, mine would either be a '90s R&B or a
Mm.
'90s alt rock. So like Blackstreet and or
Baby,
or
baby,
or
baby, 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 baby. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's
or
Casey and
like
JoJo.
the era where it was like Wallflowers, Counting Crows, Third Eye Blind, where everyone just gets up and plays like their four hit songs.
Who?
Sugar Ray. Wait, whoa. What are we doing now? Who do you not know about now?
No, hold up.
Which
Say all those names again.
Wallflowers?
Never heard of them.
Okay, since you're a country fan and they're like borderline folk country, you would dig the shit out of the
I've
Wallflowers.
probably
It's
heard one of
Bob.
their songs and maybe don't know it's them.
You definitely have. It's Bob Dylan's son.
Okay.
Bob Dylan's son's alt rock band. You'd be into it because you're the kind of guy who likes like Darius Rucker's new shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it it's along those lines. Counting Crows, like Mr. Jones and Me, that whole thing.
I don't know that, but I've heard the name Counting Crows. Okay.
Okay, Third Eye Blind.
I've heard that
Do
name.
do 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 do. Okay,
Oh, wait, no.
yeah.
No, that you sound like you were doing bop bop bop,
No, that's
and
Hanson.
no, it's not them.
Nope. No. 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 Oh man. All right. So it looks like this first time, long time movie show is gonna have some music in it too. We're gonna have album listening parties. You just got these gaps in the '90s.
Dude,
You must have had a
who
life
was
in the
that?
'90s.
Who was that other group that you said?
Oh shoot, I don't know. I have to go back. There's just so many alternative bands
Oh,
from the
do you?
'90s.
Okay, all right. Who was the person? So this isn't a '90s person. I think he probably came out in the late '90s. But I first heard about him when I was at Oregon because they played his song on one of our highlight films the night before they came. And I just saw the news today. It
Creed.
seems my
Creed.
life. I like Creed.
Yeah,
It's gonna
Creed. They're
change.
So that's Scott Stapp, the lead singer of Creed. They're playing at halftime of the Arizona Bowl.
Oh, I'm
Will
watching
you
the
watch?
Arizona Bowl then. I'm watching the Arizona Bowl. As long as they play with the eyes wide open.
But that's part of it. So like being able to watch that together and stream and everything, I think that's the future. Going to concerts is cool, but it's like the babysitter aspect, the not being able to hear the next day. But like I still love going to concerts, but it's an individual experience.
Yeah.
It's you and the noise.
Yep. All right. Now on to the next thing. Your boy Nick Saban has a brand new contract. He got that guap. So he was already the highest paid coach in college football, but then a couple of contracts pushed him to the second or third spot in line, and Alabama was like, no, we cannot have that. We will have the highest paid coach. That's how we roll. So they announced an extension with him that would add 3 years to the contract, keeping him in Tuscaloosa through February 2029. So he already had a contract through 2026, but now we need an extension. His base salary is a modest $275,000. A modest $275,000. But his talent fee is where it's expensive. 8.425 for this last football season, and it's going to go up $400,000 a year, and it'll reach 11.225 in the final year of the extension, and 11.5 for 28-29. And he also gets an $800,000 completion benefit each year through 2025. Ralph, they had to give him a contract extension, right?
Agree. And I don't necessarily. The market weirds me out. I don't.
I was being facetious. I was like,
no, I think they did. I think the standard should always be. I think the standard bearer should always be the one that produces the most excellence. I think it should be treated like a meritocracy. I don't know if the market is accurate. I don't know if the value is accurate, but the value is what it is, right? It's whatever anybody's willing to pay, which is why a completely booster-funded contract for Mel Tucker has sort of caused this giant run of massive contracts. Even though it's not necessarily the market dictating it, those are Michigan State boosters that are dictating the national market. But if you can find a way to fund it, I'm not going to be mad.
See, I'm fine with Nick Saban being the highest paid coach. No problem. He's got the most championships, and it's guaranteed success, right? Guaranteed success. In his worst year at Alabama, he lost 3 games, aside from his first year there when he didn't have anything going. We're talking about 3 games? You can pencil him in for 10-2 in the regular season. Pencil him. I'm sorry. You can write it in pen in the regular season, 10-2. Worst case scenario.
True.
So I don't mind him being the highest paid. It's these damn buyouts for these coaches that move around that make no sense to me. Because
the buyouts aren't buyouts. The buyouts are part of the contract.
And they're not prohibitive. There's nothing prohibitive about them.
Yeah, you're right. And it's gross, but it's a back-end signing bonus, which I think de-incentivizes performance, but that's another thing. Coaches just being completely happy to if they're done with a situation to burn bridges on the way out so they get $9 to $12 million. I hate that. And I really hate Brian Kelly's one. But I want to run something by you, because back in 2016, I was looking at the history of coaching salaries. The first one to make 7 figures was Steve Spurrier, and it was like 96, 97 when he broke $1 million. And by 2016-17, Saban was the first one to hit 8 figures. So using that, the 20 years between 1996-97 to 2016-2017, what I said was, we are on a trajectory to have the first head coach make $50 million a year by the year 2036. I said that 5 years ago. Do you think that's where we're headed? $50 million coaches by 2036.
That's in 15 years? No way. No way. I think we'll be at the 20 million mark.
You think we'll be at the 20 million mark?
Yes, 20 mil a season for the highest paid coach in 2036.
So, okay, you don't think we're going to see big? So this is my thing. We're about to have new TV contracts come in. In 20 years, it increased 10x for the highest paid, but it was the amount of people that were over 7 figures by like 2007 that was like, okay, now we have coordinators making that. I feel like it could be possible. And one of the reasons why is like, man, nobody makes that kind of money in sports, right? You know who does make 50 million a year? Roger Goodell.
Yep. Yeah, but that's what, a 20 billion, I mean, like almost a $20 billion business per year. So that makes
But
sense.
as cord cutting increases, and the only thing that keeps anybody hooked into any type of cable whatsoever is live sports, it just makes me wonder. It makes me wonder what amount of money people will pay to be able to televise Alabama.
Mm.
And that combined with boosters willing
Well,
to pay
well,
up to
well,
10 million a year plus buy your house.
we know how much they're willing to pay for it. The SEC just got a brand new contract with the ESPN. So so you know that that's going to be big cash. So I don't mind him getting a big contract, but like these coaches' contracts in general, like the re-upping Nick Saban makes sense, but the re-upping of, every guy just because somebody else
Oh,
called his
and they
phone number.
yeah, I hate that. And then also the idea that you have to make sure everybody has a fifth year for recruiting purposes.
No, no,
What I need,
no. All you need is three. All you need is three.
what I don't, I still see people committing with the transfer portal. With the transfer portal, it doesn't matter because people figure you're
Because
only
what
there 2
Matt
years anyway.
correct? What
Scott
difference does
Scott
it
Frost's
matter?
contract. I'm comfortable with Scott Frost's contract. He got 1 year.
What,
1 year.
dude?
Prove
They're
it.
they're all 1 year anyway. I mean, if you think about it, they're all really
You're right.
1 year contracts because you don't know if the dude's gonna be there next year, regardless. Like you have no
If you
idea.
had if you had a fan base that was booing your quarterback and making your life hell and message board posters and people putting signs in your lawn and stuff like that, and all you had to do to get $12 million to not show up to that stress is have a couple of bad days at the office. What would you
Mm.
do? I feel like people are de-incentivized. I really do. I think that performance bonuses are great. I think anything that incentivizes people to excel is good, but I think the buyouts create I don't know, I think they create a situation in which you almost want that golden parachute because then if you didn't screw up too bad, you're going to have somebody else that's going to lock you into a 5-year deal right after that.
Yeah. No, no, you are 100% right, Zay, and it's getting out of control. Speaking of out of control, listen, the coverage on Twitter of the Juicy Sommelier trial, Jussie Smollett, his trial has been absolute comedy. This dude talking about the things he did with his quote unquote attackers, bro. Like, and I remember when, and I think we were doing this already, Ralph. When he first did it, and when he was first attacked, I did not tweet anything about it. I was one of the few black folks that was like, let me wait. Let me wait. I'm not rushing to his defense. Let me wait.
You didn't
It
you
sounded
didn't even
fishy.
fire off like a you didn't even fire off like a if this is true, this is bad
No.
tweet.
Nope. Nope. Nothing.
Are you sure? Because you know I can find it.
Go ahead. Find
All right.
anything. Find anything George Reister has said about Jussie Smollett.
Okay. I will find your first Jussie Smollett tweet while you make your point here.
Okay, is that I made sure initially I was not commenting on this dude in terms of, like rushing to his defense. And then immediately I was like, something's fishy. This don't sound right. I'm like, why would they attack you? Like, first of all, it's a fucking, it was a cyclone bomb in Chicago. And this dude talking about he was walking down the street randomly and was attacked and yeah, all the details. You're like, wait, what? What? And they didn't really hurt you like that? I don't really know, Bow. And yeah. So did you find the tweets?
The first time that you ever mentioned or had a mention of Jussie Smollett wasn't actually you. It was somebody tweeting you asking why you hadn't said anything about Jussie Smollett yet. So there you go. You're
Thank you.
proven right. It was
And what
your boy Joey. Nothing from George Reister about Jussie Smollett, huh?
and then what do I say? What do I say after that about Jussie Smollett?
5 days later, you did a Periscope on fake crimes, mentioning him. I didn't watch it or anything. And then you did put together a video saying Jussie Smollett is a liar and a fraud, but this is nothing new. The MAGA crowd has just never been victims of it. Now they care. So you're basically saying like, hey, we had people lying on us for a really long time. Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club, buddy. All right. Oh, so
What a
he's
point that is. Holy shit.
so he's found guilty on 5 counts of felony disturbing the peace, essentially, right?
Yes.
So how long could he go to jail?
My guess is, help me if I'm wrong here, but like they don't stack sentences very much anymore.
They can.
Most
There
sentences,
is the
they
ability.
can,
Yeah.
but
They
it's
usually
at
run
this point, it's
concurrently.
pretty rare.
Yeah,
it's
they
almost
usually
always
run
concurrent.
Yeah, instead of consecutively.
Okay, so we're looking at a max of 3 years in prison. Prison.
So is he being canceled or is he receiving consequences?
Ooh.
Because
So
on
I
one
saw an article from, yeah, I
Be-
saw an article from Fox News today saying that he's canceled by Hollywood, and then the consequences are the consequences. I don't know if he's canceled by Hollywood because like Mel Gibson's making a movie. I think there's maybe a road back for him eventually.
I don't want to say what I'm thinking. No,
Hey,
but actually I am.
you can't back out on this when I talk about black people in movie theaters on
All right, dude.
this show.
He's
You don't
going
get
to
to
be
sit out
done
anything.
because he's black, dude. If Mel Gibson is working again, because Mel Gibson's white, his complexion is his protection sometimes, and like they'll give you a second chance, but you can't do this, Jesse. There's not going to be a studio with any executive that is going to be like, yes, let's green like that Jesse movie. I mean, he's going to have to be. It's going to be 15 years from now before he can.
You would need very specific people to step up on his behalf. So unless you
And
have,
nobody's
like,
going to do it.
you don't think you got an Ava DuVernay or a Tyler Perry or
It's going to have to be.
anything where-
Plenty of time is going to have to pass. This is a 10-year. This is a 10-year timeout, because here's the thing is that he's receiving consequences for his actions, right? But the part about him receiving consequences, it feels right because he made something up and he lied. But the problem that it doesn't feel right is that like when these men have been exonerated recently for these fake rapes or fake crimes, fake murders where they pinned them on somebody else, and then the witnesses who lied get nothing. So like it doesn't feel right when he's receiving consequences, rightly so, right? But then you look at the other times where people don't receive consequences, and then it makes it feel that what the way things should happen in all times where people lie like this. It makes it feel frivolous.
I hate to say this, but there actually is a way he could get back on TV and movies.
How is that? Make his own?
Convert.
Huh?
Convert. Apologize and join. Red hat and all.
Oh my God. So you think that if he goes full, and clearly he did this to increase his profile and all of this stuff. So would he be willing to go full, what's that dude's name? Donald Trump is what's the black dude? Terrence, that dude.
Oh, Terrence. Yeah, Terrence. It's not Ferguson. That feels like a basketball player. I know
Well,
who you're
either,
talking about
yeah.
though.
If he goes full his route, will he be forgiven?
So I'm not talking content creator. I'm talking more like Kirk Cameron.
Okay.
Saved. I've I'm I'm prayed away the gay. I'm pro Trump because it doesn't matter what side of a political issue you're on. Everybody wants more people on their team, and we have a really weird cultural thing where we'll tear somebody down or allow them to tear themselves down, and then offer them forgiveness if they meet a certain set of criteria.
You know who that is, right? He performed last night. Kanye West. The black community banned Kanye. Then he made a gospel album. And Kanye's back, baby. And I'm back in
It's
on
I think
Kanye too. So
if your side is more important than your convictions and your values, then you when your convictions and your values are the most important thing to you, you tend to have a very small circle and a really small tent. But when it's kind of the more the merrier, and even if somebody is a fraud or a charlatan or whatever, so long as they help further the agenda, whether they're faking it or not, you're more welcoming to them on on your side. And I think that's part of the reason why people were so willing to believe, because I think it's what frustrated the MAGA crowd is so many people were willing to believe that Trump voters were just walking around beating up black people in Chicago in a blizzard. They wanted to believe it, right?
yep.
And I think that there's people on that side that would want to believe that people can just get red pilled to the point of where they fully sell out for the idea of populist conservatism. So I think that there is a way back, but it would have to be quite a departure from everything that he identifies as today. And I don't think it ever happened, but I do think you would see he'd get work. Not maybe not the kind of work that you'd go and see, but
All right. The uh Demaryius Thomas, former actually we'll go to Demaryius last. The next to last thing we have is conspiracy theories. Ralph asked a question about fake conspiracy theories because there's a new thing out where people are talking about birds are not real. And I'm like, I had never heard of this. So can you explain this to me?
yeah. There's people, and I've never been able to tell if it's serious or not. But there are people who I guess do it like on the level of flat earthers. Like it's nobody I know, but apparently people think it. That birds have been replaced with surveillance drones. That either the bird population has been severely diminished and replaced with surveillance drones, or birds are just flat out not a thing. They're all surveillance drones. Somewhere in that area, that it's either all birds or most birds is everything that I've read. I have never encountered a single person that is on this, but New York Times just put out an article saying that like it's the first big millennial driven conspiracy theory, which I don't know. I know a lot of young people who
Okay.
got into Pizzagate stuff like that.
Okay. I do not think that conspiracy theory is crazy. I don't. I do believe it's crazy that all birds have been replaced. But do I believe that they use birds as drones or surveillance? Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? That makes a lot of sense. It makes so much sense. I mean, it's literally the perfect way to be conspicuous. It is almost like if you're not paying very close attention, you can drive by a tree and not realize that it's a cell phone tower. Like it's very easy to do that if you weren't really paying attention to the details. Now imagine a bird like just kind of flying around and then it lands. You're not going to be paying attention to that. That's actually genius. So I don't know if that's a conspiracy. I don't even think that's a conspiracy theory. I think that's so plausible, right? I mean, like, why would you need to put a listening device like try to like go over and plant a listening device or risk somebody getting caught when you can just land a bird on a tree and then just point the eyes at it and then hear all the sound.
I think that it's plausible. I don't think that it's an actual thing because you gotten drones for you ever gotten your kid a drone for Christmas and they
Yes.
immediately like fly it into a tree and it breaks?
Yeah.
I feel like there would be broken robot birds everywhere.
I'm saying I don't think that there are millions of them flying around, but I'm saying, like, do they use them sometimes? Probably. I think the idea that all the birds are drones is idiocy.
Okay. All right. So you're going to be when Kyrie is on this in 6 months. When Kyrie refuses to play the Pelicans because Pelicans are actually ocean surveillance drones.
Dude, I don't even know if we're ever gonna see that dude again. So
Maybe.
so
I okay. So that being said, I think it's possible, not probable. You think that it would be silly of them not to already be doing this?
yes, because I've
Okay.
traveled around the world traveling to some military bases, and we have some pretty extensive equipment already. Like that, it like 10 years ago, stuff that actually not quite 10, but like 7 years ago, stuff I saw was like stuff was out of the movies that didn't look like guns that shoot around corners and all of this stuff, and you find out that it's actually true. Yeah, so yeah.
So what is a something that could probably be classified as a conspiracy theory that you actually believe, or you don't think is completely off the wall, absurd, or too far out there for you to
Mm,
grasp?
that 5G could like cause cancer or like or
Like
have
like cell phone radiation and that
yes.
whole thing.
Yep.
I think that's probably the one that I'm that because there was that movie Thank You for Smoking, where the cigarette lobbyist like turns into a at the very end he's now a cell phones don't cause brain cancer lobbyist.
Yes.
Yeah, I that's not it's not like unheard of. It's like a miniature radio. Yeah, I mean, I could see it's not something that I'm like sold out for, like telling people not to update their cell phones and everything. But like eventually, if that comes to pass, I'll be like, yeah, we probably should have seen that coming.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't know if there's one. I don't know if there's one in particular that I'm fully subscribed to. I do not believe. I don't always fully believe government narratives of things, and I think that comes from I my like mentor, my uncle that helped raise me is military intelligence, and he always tells me like, no, it's almost all narrative. And then you look at Native American history, and that's almost all narrative. And you look at like assassination of Malcolm X and stuff like that that's come out, it's almost all narrative. Pat Tillman narrative, like he's a hero, and then it's like actually we shot him, and he's still a hero, but we covered up that we shot him, and it's so like and even like the Jussie Smollett thing. There's always like an initial thing that someone's trying to potentially spin, and I think the truth comes out over time. But as far as like believing in I don't know Bigfoot or UFOs, as far as being like aliens, or I don't know. I don't know if there's a thing that I'm like, no, this one's definitely I'm all sold out for this in particular. I do know the one that makes me the angriest.
Which one is that?
Flat Earth. Flat Earth makes me genuinely upset. It makes me want to fight people.
Why?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I also get like really triggered by certain vaccine ones because there's actually like enough to discuss. when it comes to what we put in our bodies and how we treat our bodies without injecting, pardon the word, without injecting like the real crazy shit into it, right? The like Bill Gates mind
Oh
control
yeah.
microchip stuff. Like there we could be having a productive, honest conversation that moves us forward as a society, but like then the weirdos come in and we have to address them. And then you have the people who the weirdos actually help further what they're trying to do so they don't exclude them from the tent. So they kind of invite them in, then they get their movement hijacked, and then so it's like this whole thing of everybody calling everyone anti-vax, even though like some people are just concerned and wait and see, and other people are genuinely either anti-vax or conspiracy theorists. But because you didn't disavow, you're all together. So now nothing's productive. I get
Yeah,
really
so you
triggered by
must be with them.
yeah. I get like physically like I can feel my blood get hot when it's because I feel like you're wasting my time. I don't want my time wasted. Actually want to talk about these things. And if I have to deal with somebody saying that like if you sail too far, your boat will fall off the edge of the world. Like if I have to deal with that person, I it takes it takes all the energy away from like ever going anywhere. And also like it makes me think you shouldn't be trusted to drive or feed yourself.
Yeah.
I don't think I because I went to a there was like a Black Lives Matter protest, and then there was like a pray for the protesters gathering, and then so I took my son to show him like, hey, this is the world, and while we were there, it got hijacked by people who wanted to let us know the Earth was flat, and I wanted to fight them because
Uh,
that's all they do is they're just energy vampires for complete idiocy.
yeah. No, no,
It'd be like if there was a huge group of people that showed up to everything that said dogs are actually boats, and they get loud enough to where you have to address the dogs are boats people.
yeah.
And what I really want to do to the dogs are boats people is lock them in a warehouse somewhere where we never have to hear from them ever again. No electricity, no cell signal. But it's America, and you're free to think dogs are boats.
All right. The final thing is this is oh man. All right. This one really hit me hard because Demaryius Thomas, who's a former NFL player, and from from meeting him, seeing him, he was a nice guy. And he passed away yesterday. Well, or at least they found him. They found him in his shower. Rigor mortis had already set in. They think he had a medical event, all that stuff, right? So the first thing I thought of, after I found out that part of it, I was like, damn, he didn't have anybody to check on him, like wife, kids, like that's sad stuff. And the other thing that it made me think about was how incredibly lucky and blessed I feel for my life. As imperfect as I am, just the thought that I've had guys that a player that I got drafted with pass away a couple years ago, players I played against, with, worked out with, girl I lost my virginity to, like all died. And I'm still here. It is
Yeah.
very, very humbling. And I'm not 85 years old, 75, 65. Like I can't even imagine how bad this gets as you get older. But
Mm-hmm.
when people who are young in their 30s are passing away, like it just hits me like, bro, I am fortunate to have today. That's where
Yeah. No, absolutely. And it's you never know when your card gets pulled. You don't know. And that's a lesson that I learned from a very young age, and it's a lesson that we learn as a society every single day. And it's this weird thing of like you could get completely overwhelmed if that's the only thing you think about, but you have to remind yourself. You have to remind yourself. I was thinking about it last night. I'm down in Arizona. I got some ailing relatives. My first girlfriend's brother was found dead yesterday, and he's part of the community down here that that I grow up in. I had a relative that was, um, got had a bad situation with police and didn't make it out of it, and I had another relative that's dealing with cancer. And you think about all those things, and it can get incredibly overwhelming. Um, but the the thing that I'm always reminded of is today was a struggle, but you got to be thankful to be here to have that struggle,
Yep.
right?
No, you
Like
are
that's
right.
it, you got to be. There's a Second Corinthians 12:10, like a delight in the persecutions and the weakness and all the inequities and everything like that, because um, that it points to all the places I fall short where you know God can take over. And so if you're a person of faith, you have that, and if not, if you're just a person who's taking oxygen into your lungs, there's 10 times the amount of people that are in the ground already than are alive right now. People come and go, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. This is your moment, and you get to choose what to do with it. And you never know when somebody's going to be writing your obituary or talking about all the ways they miss you or all the positive or negative ways that you affected their life. Not to be cliche, but there's the whole like year you were born, year you die, the dash in between. What do you do with the dash? And today, if you're listening to this, or if you're not listening to this, this is your opportunity to do something with the day to impact. And it's just a lot. It's a lot to have to consider. You want to at least consider it. You at least want to wake up every single day with some gratitude that you got to get out of bed, no matter what it is you're facing. Because there are people who don't.
Yep. No, the well said, Ralph. You guys, I'm George Reister. He's Ralph Amsden. This is Reister or Wrong. Peace out. Catch you guys on Monday.